Hey everybody, it is the first day of school today. Yay! At school, I actually really enjoy having them home in the summertime and just like going to the lake and going to the pool, but it's always nice to get back into some kind of routine for them. I just want to talk to you about a new series on my channel. I actually really want to do a series I think I'm going to call TBR Temp. 10 books from my physical TBR, which is these books are my unread books over here in this corner shelf. And I'm going to pick 10 that are hot that I really want to read, that I'm just burning up inside to read, but for whatever reason I still haven't read. 10 that are mid, that are tepid, that are not hot, not cold. I'd be fine reading them, but I might not go to them right away, and I haven't so far. And then I'm going to pick another 10 that are colds, that are blue, colds, frozen. I forgot about them. Okay. If someone took their temperature, they would think they were dead. They are in the TBR graveyard almost. They're almost in the on-haul pile. The object of the videos in that series to, read books on my TBR that I might not gravitate towards. I'm actually really good about reading books on my TBR. I read a big stack every month. So it's not necessarily to just dwindle it down, but just kind of keep it fresh, keep it moving, keep it cycled through all the different books. And the blue books are definitely books that I picked up randomly at used bookstores. I might not even know or have heard of them before. It might just be books that I've lost interest in since I've grabbed them because I didn't read them quickly enough. Those are the kind of things that I look for that are going to be in the blue section. Use the spinner wheel to pick one book per video from each section, the hot, meh, and cold sections of my TBR. And in each video, I'll read them and see actually what temp they end up being. Maybe some of the cold ones will end up being hot. We don't know. Maybe they'll increase their heart rate and first have a second life, be revived. I don't know, but we'll see. Spin a spinner wheel for each book, for each section, and it's gonna select a book for me to read. And I'm gonna read that book or DNF the book. Be reading 3 books per video. Unless I DNF something super early, then I'll spin again. So we're gonna start this one off by showing you the books I've chosen for each temperature. All right, so first I'm gonna start with my pile of hot books that's in. First, I have Hidden Pictures. I have A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. We have The Creeper by A.M. Shine. We have Silver Under Nightfall. We have The Will of the Many with Wild Dark Shore. Left of Forever by Tara Jewett. Bourbon and Proof, which is the third in a series that I have really been loving. Paladin Strength with the Come Tumbling Down by Shauna McGuire. And then these are my mid-tier books that I'd be happy to read if they came up. So we have This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Mort by Terry Pratchett. I haven't read anything from Discworld yet. We Shall Be Monsters, which was one I was just interested in that I picked up. The Chain, Suburban Hell, Invocations, Scythe and Sparrow, which I haven't read yet, obviously. Legendborn, Happiness Falls, and The Silence of the Lambs. And over here in the TBR dungeon, we have my 10 low books. So let's see what we have in here. We have Throne of the Fallen. We have House of Glass. We have The Intern. We have The Pairing. We have Strange Sweet Song, which I have no idea what this is. I don't remember. The Street Between the Pines, which was a random horror novel that I picked up at a used bookstore. Wuthering Heights, which I'm interested in reading, but will never grab unless I'm made to. And A Killing Cold. I think I've got 2 more in here. I've got Gothicana, which everyone seems to hate, that I have on my shelves, so I want to at least give it a little bit of a read. And then The Bone Clock. Yeah, so those are the books in the TBR dungeon. They're trying to get out of jail, and we'll see which books, if any, get out of jail once I read them. In jail are ones that either I picked up randomly, people just give me books, and I say, sure, I'll give them a shot, and then they sit on my shelves, but I still want to give them a try before I get rid of them, so we will see what I spin first. First spin for the hot books, here we go. What is it gonna be? Ooh, Silver Under Nightfall. So the first book, the hot book I'm going to be reading for this series is Silver Under Nightfall. I know that this is like I think an urban fantasy with vampires. So I'm very excited. It says Remy Pendergast is many things, the only son of the Duke Wallenbone, though his father might wish otherwise, an elite bounty hunter of rogue vampires and an outcast among his fellow reapers. His mother was a subject of gossip even before she eloped with a vampire, giving rise to rumors that Remy is half vampire himself. Ooh. All right, so I guess there's going to be a terrifying new breed of vampire that they have to figure out and fight in here. I honestly not sure what this is about other than it's vampires and it's fantasy and I think it's urban. So I am excited to read this. I've heard really good things and I love a vampire story. Now we're going to do the tepid category. Here we go. See what I'm going to read. So Legendborn by Tracy Dion. I have heard good things about this and I haven't read it yet, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Unfortunately, it is another larger fantasy. I think it's YA, but so maybe it'll read faster. I'm definitely going to have to pick up an audiobook for some of these so I can get them read a little bit quicker. But I know this has like a teen or right out of high school, young adult. Oh no, it says 16-year-old Bree Matthews. And it says, wants nothing to do with her family, memories, or childhood home. A residential program for bright high schoolers in UNC Chapel Hill seems like a perfect escape until Bree witnesses a magical attack on her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies. And yeah, she goes to like the secret society school and learns some kind of magic to fight these demons, I guess. I don't know. We're going to find. And now for the icicle section. I'm scared because I've already had two big ones. I'm hoping for some sort of not fantasy, maybe one of these thrillers that might be quick to get through. I don't know. Here we go. House of Glass. Yes, it's gonna be a thriller, and hopefully I could just get through that one really quick. So that's good. I'm going to grab that one. So another one, I really don't know what it's about other than it's a thriller. I just read a little bit of the inside jacket. So I guess there's a little girl who collects sharp objects and she might have seen her nanny get murdered, or maybe she has something to do with it. And then there's a lawyer who's trying to uncover who in the family is the victim and who is the murderer. But how can you find the truth when everyone here is lying? So yeah, it might be interesting. I'm willing to give it a shot. I have to for this video anyway. So we'll see if I make it through, if this one gets out of jail. Probably not, honestly, because it's a thriller. So even if I like it, it'll probably still end up getting out of here. But we'll see. So these three books are the books I'm going to be reading. We have my high interest, which is Silver Under Nightfall. We have my tepid mid interest, which is Legendborn. And then we have my icicle book, which is House of Glass. We'll see. I guess they would be more in this order. And we'll see who lands on top or middle when I'm done reading.
Okay, I am out in the hammock reading, and I am 82 pages into Silver Under Nightfall, and I'm really liking it so far. It's a vampire book, and in this world there's vampires, and there's also reapers, which are the vampire slayers, and they take some kind of drug that, you know, heightens their senses and gives them strength to fight the vampires. And I was thinking this was more of like an urban fantasy type book, but it actually seems kind of more Regency so far. There are vampire courts, and there's courts, and the main character is the son of a duke. So maybe a little bit more Regency. We'll see as I get more into this. But yeah, there's vampire courts, and the slayers kill the vampires that kind of get into that can't overcome their frenzy. At least they're supposed to like keep the ones alive that aren't like that. I don't know. It seems like a lot of politics and political intrigue and things. So far, he's at a ball celebration, I think an engagement party, and he met the woman, the vampire woman the engagement party is for, and he actually kind of liked her. And there's also this new vampire threat where these vampires that have already been killed are being resurrected and killing a bunch of people. That was interesting, and that's probably where this is headed, I would assume. You know, we're gonna try and figure out what's going on with this new race of resurrected vampire. So I have made it about 220 pages into Silver Under Nightfall, and honestly, I'm kind of bored. I thought this was going to be like a #1 slam dunk for me. So we have Remy, and Remy is a Reaper who is a vampire hunter, and there's all these different kinds of courts. Like there's a night court, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vampire courts, there is human courts, and there's vampires who feel like humans and vampires should live in harmony together, and there's humans that think that they should live in harmony together, but there's also vampires who think that humans and vampires shouldn't be living in harmony. So there's Reapers, who Remy is a Reaper, that kill vampires, like come into the human territory and kill humans. And a lot of humans don't like Remy because he's rumored to be half vampire, because his mother supposedly had an affair with a vampire, was possibly turned but then killed while pregnant with him, but we don't really know if that's the case or not. There's also this rot, was like vampires that like were killed and then were reconstituted. They are, but they don't. There's like the regular vampires, but then there's also humans that are infected with this rot that turn into vampires, but then when they're killed the second time, come back zombie-esque vampires that are in like I'm a little confused about what's going on with all these different courts and factions. I know this is like polyamorous, so I know like he ends up having a love interest with Song and Malik, both vampires, and I believe the 4th court, and she's the heir apparent or whatever. I'm not disliking it, but I'm not liking it. It's not a 100% slam dunk that I thought it was going to be. These are my medals up there, my running medals. That's why Militia runs and reads, because I have a lot of medals up there from marathons. If you didn't know, I've run 10 marathons now in the past, I think 7 years. And yeah, 7 or 8 years. And many half marathons. So that's why Militia runs. Checking for Silver Under Nightfall. I am now on page 310. I think I'm about 60% of the way through. I'm liking this a little more now. I like that they've gotten to the 4th court, which is Song and Malik's, well, it's Song's court, and then Malik is her fiance, so he is there a lot because he's, I guess, from the 3rd court. We're learning more about the different courts of vampires and what they're like, and the night court, I guess, is the 1st court of vampires. They have arrived at Song's court, the 4th court, and they're learning more about the research that Mike has been doing about the rot, and I like them at the 4th court. I am enjoying learning more about each of the individual courts in this world, and we're slowly being given information, which I enjoy. And I also like some of the things we're learning about Song and Song's mother, who's the current queen of the 4th court. We're learning about her too, and I am enjoying that. I am not enjoying the sciencey stuff about the rot. Like I think the excitement and things are gonna be really ramping up now, so I'm excited. We're gonna maybe find out who is responsible for this rot, what their motives were. Did they really just hate all the humans? Or this is feeling like a, I don't know, like a 4 maybe. It hasn't. Hey, Sophia, this is my mother-in-law's pup. And I have Ellie here, my pug. And then I don't know where my big girl is. She's around somewhere. So the 3 of them just had sex for the first time. And it's mostly closed door. I don't need a lot of smut, but like a little bit would have been nice. It's still pretty sexy, but yeah, there's no smut in here. They're very mild descriptions. Malik says, proper training requires the constant, vigorous testing of our subject. Malik's voice was a soft, luxurious velvet, and somewhere on Remy's neck, he felt a tiny bite with the promise of more to come. And we are nothing, Pendergast, but constant and vigorous. Bloodies. She's like... Finished it. It's gonna be a 4. It could be a 3.75, but I think I'm gonna round it up to a 4. It grew on me. I was really unsure about this for the first half. I wasn't hating it, but I wasn't loving it either. I've not heard good things about the second book at all, but I still
feel like I'll pick it up at some point, but those plot twists were twisting. There's a lot. It was like Whiplash or Remy. I felt like he was constantly just getting new information that he had no idea about. Because at the end of this, whew, he's been through a lot of twists and turns. The second half was much better than the first half. I don't really care about their relationship to each other so much. It's fine. Grew on me a little bit as well. This is going to be a 4 for me. And next I'm going to move on to House of Glass. I think that's what it's called. My cold book, because I think after this fantasy, Legendborn is not what I'm in the mood for. So a quick thriller probably is going to be better if I end up liking it.
I am on page 88 of House of Glass, and as I suspected, this is your pretty standard domestic thriller. It's interesting enough for me to want to know what happens, but it wouldn't have been interesting enough for me to just pick up off the shelves or buy. Someone gave me this. We got to find out what happened to the nanny, and Rose is not talking and she's behaving strangely. Stella is very dramatic. Like, could have just fell out the window, you know, we don't know for sure. High energy, at least with the audiobook parts I've listened to. But anyway, I'm going to continue on. It's interesting enough.
So I'm a little over halfway through Glass Houses now, and I mentioned that Stella, our main character, has a pretty unfortunate past. Her dad passed away when she was young, and then her mom had trouble with substance abuse and then ended up passing away as well. So she ended up going to live with her aunt. And there's this guy named Charlie who met her while she was working a job as a teenager. He offered her a job working at his firm as a secretary, and then she went on to go to school to become a lawyer and stuff. So he's been kind of in her life, which I always am a bit leery of, because an adult, you know, glomming onto a teenager and could be great giving him a leg up, but I'm always leery of ulterior motives. That doesn't seem to be the case, at least as far as we know. People actually exist, these lawyers slash private eye slash social workers that go in, question, and try to discover what would be best for the kid. Obviously there's an extra layer to this one because the nanny passed away, and then she's trying to figure out what happened with that. So I'm gonna go on my run. I have to run about 5 miles today, and we'll see how the rest of this book goes. I was able to get the audiobook on Hoopla, so I can continue it on my run. So here we go. I went grocery shopping after my run, and got home and got all the groceries in the house, showered, and I am ready to update you on House of Glass. I think this was just a very quick, fun-ish thriller. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think it's better than some things I've read, and it's not as good as others, but the conclusions didn't piss me off or annoy me, and that's the breaking point. Sorry about the dogs. For a thriller is if the reveals aggravate me, or if I think it was worth reading. Sometimes you read a whole thriller and the reveal gets revealed and you're like, ugh, that's dumb. Why did I read this whole thing for that? So I think it's fine. I'm going to hang on a second. So as I was saying before, we were rudely interrupted by the pug over here. This will be going in my on-haul pile for sure, as thrillers usually do. For me, it's read and pass along. And next I need to start reading Legendborn and see how I like that one. That's my girl makes it difficult to film. She's my baby. She's my baby. Who's my baby? No more extra doggies. That's a good thing. Love you. Boop. Boop. We're just gonna snuggle here and read now, aren't you? With me. Yes, you are. So cute. Yes, you are. So beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna give you an update on Legendborn. I am 134 pages into this. I've been listening to it and also reading with my eyeballs. I had a bunch of housework to do. I got the dishwasher unloaded, and I got laundry going, swept the floors, went grocery shopping, all that good stuff. So I got some listening time in today as well. This is a young adult fantasy, and it is about Bree, whose mom passes away. She ends up enrolling in this early college residential program at UNC. The first night that she's there, it's tradition for people to jump off this cliff or bridge, and so they sneak out, and they're not supposed to do that. At this time, she sees the flying demon, and then this other person who someone calls Merlin take the demon down. This Merlin tries to alter her memory so that she'll forget about seeing any stuff with the demon and the magic. This doesn't work on her. She still remembers it later on. And then because of this, she seems to remember something with her mother's death. Memories were altered, but it's only like a smidgen of memory. She doesn't know the whole thing. So this book is about her trying to infiltrate that society. They're called Legendborn, find out what really happened to her mom. I made it through the first part of this, and that has her kind of initiated as a pledge, or they call it a page, by Nick. And Nick is someone who was assigned to kind of watch her and see how she's doing. And he is a part of this or in society. However, he does not want to be. But because she won't leave it alone, he has brought her in. I am liking this so far. I'm liking the characters. I really like William, who is the healer. There's definitely going to be themes of grief and trauma in here. Bree has already talked about Other Bree, or Other Bree is the Bree that came after her mother passed away and how she's so different now. And she tries to wall her up. She tries to put up the wall so that the rage, grief doesn't shine through. Young adults, they deal with these losses, and it's good for them to have books and people and characters to relate to. This book also delves into a lot of issues with race, and almost everyone at this university is white, and actually everyone in this society is white. She talks about how it's weird to walk through areas of the state and the school and places that at one time created basically to keep her out and to keep anyone who with her skin color out. As someone who is white and someone who lives in New England, it's not something that is at the forefront of my mind, but I definitely can see how in the South it is definitely more forefront with all the Confederate stuff. Still, I think it could provoke some interesting discussions, especially among young adults and also adults, because lots of adults don't think about these things. They think it doesn't matter, especially when it comes to our current political climate here. I am back at the trail. It's morning time, ready for my run. I've got a 3-ish, maybe a little bit more mile run today. I'm supposed to run at a 9:30 pace for the middle 16 minutes of it. So we'll see if I could do that. It's a tough pace for me these days. So we're going to try though. A bunch of my footage got corrupted. I was able to upload it, but it's all a little funky. At least the audio is okay though. We're just going to go with it. We're going to do the best we can because I really don't want to scrap this whole thing because that's no fun. It's going to make me not want to do anything. Go run, listen to Legendborn, and see where we are after that. I am still liking it. She's starting to learn about her own individual form of magic. And of course, the Legendborns are all like, the colonizers. Their magic's been passed down for generations upon generations. And there's the root magic, and it's just as valid, but the friggin' Legendborn people probably tried to persecute anyone who didn't have their specific kind of magic. So I'm back from my run. I'm showered, and I put my comfies back on. I put this sweatshirt back on. I've got my comfy boo blanket, and I've got my comfy boo pajamas. I got these from TJ Maxx, and this from TJ Maxx, and this, I think, from TJ Maxx. I'm nice and comfy, and I'm ready to read. I had my morning monster and my morning breakfast, to some YouTube, scrolled on Instagram for a bit. Now I'm going to try to read. I would like to finish this today, but I have about halfway to go, so we'll see if that actually happens. I have other books I also am reading at the same time, so we'll see. I'm gonna sit here for at least an hour and see how much I can get done in this, and see if I'm about 65%. I'm on chapter 35 now, so I still have a couple hundred pages to go in this. I'm still really liking this. It's definitely entertaining and a good read. I'm liking Cell now, feeling like there might be kind of love triangle vibes in here. I don't know if there actually is going to be. There's no romantic notions between them yet, but I really like him. I'm surprised that Nick's dad isn't more of an asshole. I kind of figured he would be. Maybe he still will be. What else? I think what they did to Nick's mom is absolutely horrible. Oh yes, also I wanted to say that I could care less about like trials that are in here. I mean, they're pretty truncated and quick and not really like a main part of the story, so. This is the big girl. I haven't shown her much yet. Huh? Huh, Bubba? We snuggling?
I finished! Yay! This is the 10th book I finished this month, and it's the 10th, so that's perfect. A 4.25. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very strong young adult fantasy, and we'll see if I continue. I think I probably will, but there's so many books and so little time. So this TBR temp, I read 3 books and nothing got below 3, so that is pretty good. I think this one's probably my favorite of the 3, then Silver Under Nightfall, and then Houses, or The Glass House. Oh, I'm getting spit on. A squirrel lost its nut. It's got some, hello squirrel, you dropped your lunch. I'm sitting right underneath an oak tree, and I always get hit by acorns. But anyways, this is the end of this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sorry about some of the video malfunctions. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment down below with an emoji if you can't think of anything else to put down there. And I will see you next time. Bye. Can you say bye to the vlog? Can you say good boy?